The black woman's manicured fingers trace the contours of the $8,500 handbag. The white manager swoops in, shouldering between her and the display, snatching the bag from her grasp. This limited edition sells out instantly to our regular clientele. He dramatically returns it to its pedestal. Our clearance section is by the exit, much more suitable. She straightens her designer blazer. I'd like to see it in burgundy, please. He scoffs, eyes scanning her from head to toe. Ma'am, you can't afford it. Let's stop pretending. Her diamond watch glints as she reaches into her pocket. The document she slides across the counter makes his smile collapse. I'm Vanessa Taylor. I purchased this entire chain last week. She takes back the bag. And you're Trevor Barnes, the manager who just lost his job. How did a routine store inspection transform into career suicide for Trevor Barnes? The late afternoon sun bathes Chicago's Gold Coast in amber light as Vanessa Taylor approaches Elegance, the crown jewel of the luxury retail chain she quietly acquired last week. She adjusts her understated blazer and slips off her designer sunglasses, deliberately leaving her status symbols, the limited edition watch and custom phone case, partially concealed. At 42, Vanessa has perfected the art of blending in when necessary. The tech company she built from her apartment sold for 8 figures last month, but today she's not here as a CEO. She's conducting unannounced visits to assess what her considerable investment has really purchased. Inside, Trevor Barnes stands at his command post near the center of the store. At 35, he's spent 5 years cultivating what he calls an eye for clientele, a practiced ability to determine who belongs in Elegance and who doesn't. His tailored suit and immaculate hair project authority as he surveys his domain. Trevor's gaze locks onto Vanessa the moment she enters. His eyes perform a swift calculation. Black woman, business casual attire, no shopping bags from neighboring luxury stores. He categorizes her instantly, nodding to a security guard who shifts position to maintain a sightline. Vanessa notices. She also notices how Trevor steps forward with a brilliant smile when an older white woman in chunky gold jewelry enters moments later. Mrs. Hoffman, wonderful to see you again. That St. John jacket is stunning on you. Vanessa drifts between displays, watching as Trevor escorts Mrs. Hoffman to a private seating area where champagne appears within seconds. We just received the collection you inquired about, he tells Mrs. Hoffman, loud enough for others to hear. I set aside the choicest pieces, knowing your excellent taste. Nearby, a young black sales associate named Tiffany helps a customer with evident expertise. Trevor appears at her side, whispering something that makes her shoulders tense. As he walks away, Tiffany glances apologetically at Vanessa, then follows her manager's instruction to keep an eye on the woman by the handbags. Vanessa absorbs every interaction, her expression neutral while her mental notes accumulate. She moves toward the exclusive handbag display, the true test of any luxury store's service approach. The elaborate performance of discrimination Trevor has perfected is about to be evaluated by the one person with the power to end his career. Vanessa lifts an alligator-embossed handbag from its illuminated pedestal, examining the hand-stitched details with expert precision. She turns it slowly, inspecting the craftsmanship of the hidden interior compartments, knowledge only a true connoisseur would possess. Trevor materializes beside her, his practiced smile tight at the edges. Can I help you find something? His tone implies she's wandered into the wrong department, perhaps the wrong store entirely. The stitching on this is exquisite, Vanessa replies, her fingers tracing the seams. This particular designer uses a specialized locking technique for durability, doesn't she? Trevor blinks, momentarily caught off guard by her knowledge. He recovers quickly. Yes, well, this particular collection starts at $8,500. He emphasizes the price, watching for her reaction. Perhaps I could show you some of our more accessible options? I'm curious about the burgundy version, Vanessa continues, ignoring his suggestion. I understand the color matching process requires each hide to be dyed individually. That must affect the pricing structure. Trevor shifts his weight, increasingly annoyed by her refusal to be intimidated. These pieces are investments, madam. The clientele who purchase them typically understand the luxury market. His condescension thickens with each word. Vanessa smiles pleasantly. Could I see the burgundy version, please? Unfortunately, our premium items require a viewing deposit. Store policy. Trevor's invention flows smoothly. It's simply to ensure serious buyers have access to our limited inventory. I see, Vanessa says. Could you show me where this policy is documented? I'd be interested in the details. Trevor's smile hardens. It's more of an unwritten understanding for the protection of our exclusive merchandise. As they speak, a white woman in designer activewear approaches. Excuse me, do you have this bag in the navy color? Trevor pivots instantly, his demeanor transforming. Of course, Ms. Davidson. I'd be delighted to bring that out for you right away. No deposit necessary for our valued regulars. The contrast is stark, deliberate, and precisely what Vanessa came to observe. She watches the interaction without comment, her expression revealing nothing while Trevor throws one last dismissive glance her way before escorting the other customer to a private viewing area. As Trevor walks away, he misses Vanessa's subtle movement, reaching for her phone and sending a text that will set his downfall in motion. Trevor returns with reinforcements, 2 male associates flanking him like bodyguards, creating a deliberate spectacle in the center of the store. Other customers pause their shopping, attention drawn to the developing confrontation. Ma'am, Trevor announces, his voice unnecessarily loud. I've consulted with my team regarding your interest in our premium collection. He stands too close, violating her personal space with calculated intimidation. We have a responsibility to our exclusive clientele to maintain certain standards. Vanessa remains perfectly composed. I'm still interested in seeing the burgundy version of this bag. Trevor laughs, a sharp theatrical sound designed for his audience of onlookers. Ma'am, you can't afford it. This bag costs more than most people's monthly salary. He gestures dismissively at her attire. Let's not waste each other's time. The humiliation is public and intentional. Several customers turn to watch. Some look uncomfortable while others exchange knowing glances. A group of women at the jewelry counter whisper behind manicured hands. Perhaps I could show you to our seasonal markdowns? Trevor continues, each word dripping with false concern. We have options starting at only $500, much more appropriate for your situation. Tiffany, the young black sales associate, stands frozen nearby, her discomfort evident in her rigid posture and downcast eyes. When she risks meeting Vanessa's gaze, embarrassment and apology flash across her face. Are you refusing to serve me? Vanessa asks, her voice calm and measured. Not at all, Trevor responds with exaggerated patience. I'm helping you avoid embarrassment at the register. He leans closer, lowering his voice to a stage whisper still audible to nearby customers. We've had incidents before with people who overestimate their purchasing power. An older white woman browsing scarves nods approvingly at Trevor. Some people just don't understand these aren't ordinary stores, she says loudly to her companion. The burgundy bag, please, Vanessa repeats, unmoved by the spectacle Trevor has orchestrated. Trevor sighs dramatically. Listen, I'm trying to do you a favor. He points toward the exit. Perhaps Nordstrom Rack would be more appropriate for your shopping needs. One of the male associates snickers, quickly composing his features when Trevor shoots him a warning glance. Our clientele expects a certain ambiance, Trevor adds, sweeping his arm to encompass the store's elegant interior and its predominantly white customers. I'm sure you understand. Throughout the escalating humiliation, Vanessa's expression remains unreadable. She doesn't flinch, doesn't raise her voice, doesn't reveal the slightest hint, that Trevor's performance is affecting her. But something shifts in her eyes, a hardening, a calculation, a decision made. The practiced smoothness of Trevor's discrimination reveals years of similar encounters, countless customers treated with the same calculated disdain. He's confident in his position, secure in the knowledge that complaints rarely make it past the customer service department he personally oversees. What he doesn't realize, as he stands triumphantly before his audience, is that today's target isn't just another customer to be driven away. She's his new boss, meticulously documenting every word of his carefully choreographed discrimination. While Trevor basks in his public victory, he fails to notice Vanessa's subtle transformation from composed customer to calculating executive. Vanessa moves with deliberate calm to a quiet corner near the fragrance counter. Her posture reveals nothing of the cold anger crystallizing within her. She pulls out her phone, not the latest model but a custom-secured device built for her tech company, and makes a call. "Elizabeth? It's Vanessa." Her voice is low, controlled. "Activate Protocol 17 at the Chicago location." "Yes, immediately." She listens briefly, eyes tracking Trevor as he struts back to his office. "Full documentation. Have the legal team standing by." She ends the call, her decision made. Meanwhile, Trevor closes his office door, laughing as he drops into his leather chair. The male associate who followed him, Daniel, new to the sales team, stands uncertainly by the doorway. "Did you see her face?" Trevor says, loosening his tie. "These people need to learn where they belong. Not in elegance, that's for sure." Daniel shifts uncomfortably. "She seemed pretty knowledgeable about the products, Trevor." "They all do their research online," Trevor scoffs, pulling up sales projections on his monitor. "Watch unboxing videos, memorize a few designer names, then come in pretending they belong." He scrolls through figures, frowning. "I need to hit my luxury quota this month. Can't waste time on window shoppers." "What if she could actually afford it, though?" Daniel ventures. Trevor swivels to face him. "Listen, I've been doing this for 5 years. I know our clientele. You want to make commission in this business? Learn to spot the real buyers." He gestures toward the store floor. "Mrs. Hoffman out there? She dropped 30 grand last month without blinking. That's who deserves our attention." On the sales floor, Vanessa approaches Tiffany, who's straightening an already perfect display of silk scarves. The young woman tenses as Vanessa stops beside her. "Excuse me," Vanessa says quietly. "I'm sorry about earlier," Tiffany whispers, glancing nervously toward Trevor's office. "I should have." "How long have you worked here?" Vanessa interrupts, her tone professional but kind. 3 years. I have the highest customer satisfaction scores, but..." Tiffany hesitates. "But the lowest commission," Vanessa finishes for her. "Because you're assigned to accessories, not the high-ticket sections." Tiffany's eyes widen slightly. "How did you know?" Vanessa hands her a business card, blank except for a phone number. "Things are about to change here. When they do, I'll need people who understand what exceptional service really means." Tiffany stares at the card, then at Vanessa, comprehension dawning. She nods once and slips the card into her pocket, returning to her position with renewed purpose. Through the glass walls of his office, Trevor notices the exchange. His brow furrows as he watches Vanessa moving methodically through the store, observing everything. How the security guard follows a young black couple but ignores an older white man tucking a silk tie into his jacket to better see the pattern. How customers receive dramatically different levels of attention based on appearance. How his carefully cultivated system of discrimination operates like clockwork. Trevor stands abruptly. This has gone on long enough. As Trevor strides toward Vanessa with determination, his phone vibrates with a call from corporate headquarters, a number he never expected to see today. Trevor silences his phone without looking at it, shoving it back into his pocket. Whatever corporate wants can wait. He has a situation to handle. He intercepts Vanessa near a display of crystal-embellished evening bags, positioning himself to block her path. "Ma'am, I've been more than patient with you." His voice has lost all pretense of customer service pleasantry. "You need to leave now, or I'll be forced to call security." Vanessa raises a single eyebrow. "On what grounds?" "Loitering." Trevor stands too close, using his height as intimidation. "This is a place of business, not a museum. You've been here nearly an hour without making a purchase." Around them, customers pretend not to listen while absorbing every word. Trevor's confrontational posture has turned the luxury shopping experience into uncomfortable theater. The store phone rings shrilly. A sales associate answers, then approaches Trevor with evident reluctance. "Sir," she says, keeping her voice low. "It's corporate. They're asking for you. They say it's urgent." Trevor waves her away without taking his eyes off Vanessa. "Take a message. I'm handling a situation." "But sir, they insisted." "I said take a message." His tone leaves no room for argument. The associate retreats, casting a worried glance at Vanessa. Trevor refocuses on his target. "Last chance to leave with dignity." "I believe you're making a serious professional mistake, Mr. Barnes." Vanessa's voice remains calm, but something in her tone, a certainty, a warning, momentarily unsettles him. He recovers quickly. "And I believe you're trespassing." He signals to a security guard who begins moving in their direction. "Escort this woman out," he instructs loudly. The store phone rings again, more insistently this time. The same associate answers, her expression growing increasingly alarmed. "Mr. Barnes," she calls, her voice cracking with stress. "It's Ms. Winters from Corporate Legal. She says it's regarding an ownership transition and that she must speak with you immediately." Trevor's confidence falters for the first time. Ownership transition. He glances from the phone to Vanessa, noting the hint of a smile playing at the corner of her mouth. "Who are you?" he demands, uncertainty creeping into his voice. Vanessa doesn't answer. She doesn't need to. The front doors of Elegance swing open, and a professionally dressed woman carrying a leather portfolio enters. Her eyes scan the store with purpose until they lock onto Vanessa. As the newcomer strides toward them with corporate authority, Trevor's kingdom begins crumbling beneath his feet. The woman with the portfolio moves with precise efficiency through the store, customers instinctively stepping aside. Her tailored suit and deliberate pace broadcast authority. "Ms. Taylor?" She extends the portfolio. "I have the documents you requested." Trevor intercepts her, physical confidence returning. "Excuse me, who are you?" "Elizabeth Chen, Chief Operations Officer for Taylor Ventures." She doesn't offer her hand, doesn't acknowledge his position. "I believe you've been ignoring calls from corporate." Trevor's laugh sounds hollow even to his own ears. "There must be some mistake. I haven't—" His phone buzzes again. The screen displays Corp Executive Suite with an urgency he can no longer dismiss. "The legal team will arrive in 20 minutes, Elizabeth informs Vanessa, ignoring Trevor completely. "The regional director is already on his way." The store has grown silent. Even the ambient music seems to have faded as every ear strains to catch the unfolding drama. "What is this? Some kind of scam?" Trevor attempts to reclaim control, his voice rising. "You can't just walk in here and—" "Mr. Barnes," Vanessa interrupts calmly, "I've been in this store for 45 minutes. In that time, I've observed you discriminate against 3 black customers, including myself. You violated company policy at least 7 times. Trevor feels heat rising in his face. "You're making serious accusations without any proof." He gestures wildly around the store. "This is my store, and I want both of you out now." "Your store?" Elizabeth raises an eyebrow, removing a document from her portfolio. "Perhaps you should check your email. The ownership announcement went out this morning." Trevor fumbles for his phone, fingers suddenly clumsy as he navigates to his inbox. The subject line, "Urgent, Ownership Transition, Effective Immediately," sits bold and unread at the top. "This is ridiculous," he sputters, not opening the email. "Harold Whitmore has owned this company for 20 years. He wouldn't sell without—" "Mr. Whitmore closed the deal last Tuesday," Elizabeth states flatly. "The transition team has been reviewing operations all week." Trevor looks to his employees for support, finding only averted gazes and uncomfortable shifts in posture. Even his most loyal associates won't meet his eyes. The front door opens again. This time, it's David Acosta, the regional director, accompanied by two people carrying briefcases embossed with the corporate logo. Their expressions are grave as they survey the scene. The corporate cavalry has arrived, and Trevor suddenly realizes he's been performing his discrimination for an audience with the power to destroy him. David Acosta approaches with swift strides, confusion evident in his furrowed brow. "Trevor, what's going on? I've been calling you for an hour." Trevor straightens his jacket, grasping at professionalism. "Sir, these women are disrupting business. They're making false accusations." "This is Vanessa Taylor," David interrupts, gesturing respectfully toward her. His tone changes completely. "Our new majority owner." The words land like physical blows. Trevor's mouth opens but produces no sound as he stares from David to Vanessa. "That's impossible," he finally manages. "The owner is Harold Whitmore. Harold sold his shares last week," David explains patiently, though his eyes betray concern. "The announcement email went out this morning. Ms. Taylor is conducting site visits before the formal transition." Trevor's world narrows to the unread email on his phone. With trembling fingers, he opens it, scanning the first paragraph confirming everything they've said. The floor seems to shift beneath him. "This must be a misunderstanding," Trevor attempts recovery, his voice unnaturally high. "Ms. Taylor, if I'd known who you were—" "That's precisely the problem," Vanessa says evenly. "Your behavior changes based on who you think someone is." Customers have abandoned any pretense of shopping. The store has transformed into a theater, with Trevor center stage in a drama spiraling beyond his control. "I was simply following loss prevention protocols," he insists, desperation edging into his voice. "In retail, we have to make quick assessments." "Is it protocol to offer champagne to some customers while following others around the store?" Vanessa asks, her tone conversational yet pointed. "Is it policy to refuse service based on perceived economic status?" Trevor looks to David for support. "Sir, you know how careful we need to be with our premium merchandise." David's expression remains neutral, professional. "The only policy is exceptional service for all customers, Trevor. You know that." One of the corporate lawyers whispers something to Elizabeth, who nods and discreetly points toward the ceiling. Trevor follows her gaze to the security cameras positioned throughout the store, the same system he's used to monitor suspicious customers, now capturing his every word, his every desperate attempt to justify discrimination. The realization hits him like ice water. There will be a record of everything. The security cameras silently record Trevor's downfall as he suddenly realizes his years of practiced discrimination have created the perfect evidence against him. The atmosphere in Elegance has transformed. Customers stand frozen between luxury displays, witnesses to a drama more compelling than any merchandise. Sales associates have abandoned their posts, attention fixed on the unfolding scene. Even the security guard who moments ago was prepared to remove Vanessa now stands uncertainly by the door. Vanessa steps forward, taking control of the space with quiet authority. When she speaks, her voice carries without effort to every corner of the hushed store. "Let me formally introduce myself," she begins. "I'm Vanessa Taylor, founder of Taylor Security Systems and new majority owner of Elegance Luxury Group." The revelation ripples through the room. A customer gasps audibly. Vanessa accepts the portfolio from Elizabeth and removes several documents. "I sold my tech company last year and decided to invest in retail. When evaluating acquisition targets, I personally visit stores to assess customer experience." Trevor attempts to interrupt, his voice brittle with panic. "Ms. Taylor, Had I known... That's the point, Mr. Barnes. Vanessa's tone remains measured, professional. I didn't want special treatment. I wanted to experience what everyday customers experience. She turns to David Acosta. In 45 minutes, I witnessed systematic discrimination. Mr. Barnes followed black customers, directed staff to watch them, and used different service standards based solely on appearance. Trevor's face has gone from red to ashen. That's a complete mischaracterization. It's all on camera, Elizabeth interjects, gesturing to the security system Trevor himself had upgraded last year. And we've been recording customer complaints for months during our acquisition research. Trevor's eyes dart frantically around the store as though seeking an escape route. Finding none, he attempts a different tack. You have to understand the pressures of luxury retail. Our clientele has certain expectations. I understand retail perfectly well, Vanessa cuts him off. I've been shopping in luxury stores my entire adult life. The difference is, today I experienced your store as a black woman without the signals of wealth you've been trained to recognize. She slides a document across the counter. This is a record of today's interactions, time-stamped with security footage references. Trevor stares at the paper but doesn't touch it. His hands are visibly shaking. And this, Vanessa produces another document, is notice of your immediate termination. A collective intake of breath fills the store. You can't just, Trevor begins. I can and I am. Vanessa's voice never rises, yet carries absolute authority. Elegance will not tolerate discrimination under my ownership. This isn't just about today. Your personnel file shows multiple customer complaints that were never properly addressed. She glances at Tiffany, who stands straighter under her gaze. It also shows a pattern of promoting white employees over more qualified black and brown staff, directing commission-generating clients to select associates, and creating a hostile work environment for anyone who questioned these practices. Trevor makes one final desperate attempt. Our clientele expects a certain environment. I was protecting the brand's exclusivity. Exclusivity isn't exclusion, Mr. Barnes. Vanessa turns to address the watching staff. Luxury should be about exceptional quality and service for those who appreciate it, regardless of appearance, race, or assumptions about wealth. She gestures to the displays surrounding them. These beautiful items are meant to be desired, admired, and yes, purchased by those who value them. But the privilege of selling them comes with responsibility to treat everyone with dignity. The corporate lawyers have moved to flank Trevor, their presence making it clear his time is finished. You have 30 minutes to collect your personal belongings, Vanessa informs him. Security will escort you out. As though choreographed, the security guard who had been Trevor's enforcer now approaches to perform his final duty, removing the former manager from the premises. Trevor looks wildly around the store that has been his kingdom. His gaze lands on customers who now avert their eyes, associates who step back from his downfall, and finally on Vanessa, the woman he had dismissed, humiliated, and attempted to remove, now standing in complete control of everything he has lost. This isn't over, he manages, though his voice has lost all conviction. It is for you? Elizabeth responds coolly, gesturing toward the back office. 30 minutes, Mr. Barnes. As Trevor is led away, shoulders slumped in defeat, Vanessa turns her attention to the young sales associate who witnessed it all. Tiffany, isn't it? I'd like to speak with you about the interim management position. As Trevor faces the ruins of his career, Vanessa begins reshaping the company with the very people he had systematically kept from advancing. Day 1. Emergency response. Within hours of Trevor's removal, Elegance's Chicago flagship transforms into a command center for corporate reformation. Vanessa converts the manager's office, still bearing Trevor's monogrammed nameplate, into a war room where Elizabeth Chen coordinates a team of lawyers, HR specialists, and corporate investigators. The situation is worse than our preliminary research indicated, Elizabeth reports, spreading documents across the conference table. Trevor's discrimination wasn't just personal bias. He institutionalized it throughout store operations. Vanessa reviews security footage spanning the past month, her expression growing increasingly troubled. "Show me the commission structures," she requests. The spreadsheets tell a damning story. Sales associates of color consistently assigned to lower commission departments regardless of performance metrics, customer profiles coding black shoppers as higher security risks, informal quotas limiting how many non-traditional clients could receive private shopping appointments. By evening, Tiffany Adams sits across from Vanessa, nervously smoothing her skirt. "I never thought I'd make it past accessories," she admits. 3 years of perfect customer feedback, but Trevor always said I wasn't ready for the main floor. "That changes today," Vanessa replies, sliding over temporary management credentials. "Your customer service scores are exceptional, and multiple associates cited your ethical leadership in their interviews." Tiffany stares at the badge. "But there are more senior people." "Who enabled discrimination?" Vanessa finishes. "We're not just changing management, we're changing culture." As night falls, security escorts 2 more senior staff members from the building. Trevor's most loyal enforcers, implicated by their colleagues and store records in maintaining his discriminatory system. Day 3. Corporate Directive. Dawn breaks with a company-wide email hitting every inbox across the Elegance empire. Effective immediately, Elegance implements a zero-tolerance discrimination policy. All customer service will adhere to our new dignity standards, regardless of perceived purchasing power or background. All managers must complete bias training within 30 days. Anonymous reporting systems are now live for employees to flag concerns without fear of retaliation. The Chicago store opens under Tiffany's management with a transformed atmosphere. Security guards receive new instructions. Maintain the safety of merchandise and customers equally, without profiling. Commission structures are temporarily standardized across departments until a complete overhaul can be implemented. In the corporate offices, Elizabeth leads the legal team through damage assessment. "Trevor's attorney sent this morning," she informs Vanessa, handing over a threatening letter claiming wrongful termination and defamation. Vanessa scans it briefly before passing it back. "Forward him the security footage from Tuesday. The incident with the young couple he had security follow through the entire store should be sufficient." "And the customer testimonials are coming in?" Elizabeth adds, pulling up a spreadsheet. 17 former customers have already provided statements about discriminatory treatment. 5 of them have receipts showing major purchases after being initially profiled and discouraged. Across town, Trevor paces his apartment, phone pressed to his ear. "They can't just fire me for maintaining standards," he insists to his attorney. "Luxury retail has different expectations. I was protecting the brand image." His lawyer's voice sounds tired even through the speaker. "Mr. Barnes, I've reviewed the initial evidence they provided, the security footage alone. That's being taken out of context. You told a security guard, and I quote, 'Watch the black couple in accessories.' They're not our demographic. There is no context that makes that acceptable." Trevor collapses onto his sofa, the reality of his situation finally penetrating. "So what do we do?" "We hope they'll accept a quiet withdrawal of our complaint in exchange for not publicizing the evidence they have against you." Day 5. Public Awareness. The story breaks despite the legal team's discretion. A former employee, emboldened by Trevor's removal, posts on social media about the systemic discrimination at Elegance under his management. The post goes viral within hours. #Elegance. Accountability trending as other customers share similar experiences across multiple locations. Vanessa addresses the situation directly, releasing a statement acknowledging the problem and outlining concrete steps being taken. Elegance has failed to live up to its name. True elegance isn't about exclusion. It's about excellence in product and service for all who appreciate quality. We are completely restructuring our approach to customer experience, and have already removed those responsible for discriminatory practices. Rather than dampening interest in the brand, the transparent approach creates unexpected positive attention. Fashion industry publications request interviews about the company's transformation. Retail analysts note the unusual approach of admitting failure instead of issuing standard corporate denials. Trevor's attorney withdraws all claims against Elegance after receiving a comprehensive evidence packet documenting years of discriminatory behavior. The final email from the corporate legal team makes the situation clear. Any further action will result in the public release of all evidence, making Trevor unemployable in the industry. That afternoon, Vanessa personally calls 5 customers identified in the records as having experienced the worst discrimination. She invites them to a special reopening event, offering sincere apologies and requesting their input on creating a more inclusive luxury experience. "Your perspective is invaluable," she tells a woman who had been followed by security throughout her visit despite spending over $4,000. "We can't fix what we don't fully understand." Day 10. Structural change. Elegance headquarters buzzes with activity as Vanessa meets with the board of directors. The projected numbers cause several members to shift uncomfortably in their seats. This diversity scholarship for fashion design students will cost nearly $2 million annually, one board member notes. And the community engagement program is an investment, not an expense, Vanessa completes firmly. Our preliminary research shows luxury brands with inclusive practices outperform traditional exclusivity models by 23% over 5 years. She advances to the next slide. "We're not just fixing a problem, we're creating competitive advantage. The luxury market is evolving. New money doesn't look like old money, and brands clinging to outdated profiling are losing market share." By day's end, the board unanimously approves her proposals, including restructured commission systems rewarding customer satisfaction over sales volume, blind recruitment processes for all hiring quarterly secret shopper tests with diverse participants, community engagement programs bringing luxury education to diverse neighborhoods, a complete retraining of all security personnel. The transformation costs millions, but Vanessa's presentation makes the business case irrefutable. Exclusion is becoming unprofitable in a changing luxury landscape. Day 14. Unexpected resistance. Trevor, growing desperate as his savings dwindle and industry connections go silent, secures a meeting with Harold Whitmore, the former owner, at his country club. "The brand will be destroyed," Trevor insists, desperation evident in his rumpled appearance. "Everything we built over 20 years, the exclusivity, the prestige." Whitmore sips his whiskey, regarding Trevor coolly. "I sold because the market is changing, Trevor. Luxury isn't what it was in my father's time. New wealth is diverse. Ms. Taylor recognized that before I did. But the traditional clientele made up 60% of our business last year, down from 85% 5 years ago." Whitmore sets down his glass. "I'm a businessman, not a museum curator. Taylor offered 30% above market value because she saw the potential I was missing." Trevor's final hope collapses. "So you won't help me?" "My advice? Take whatever retail position you can get, even if it's at a department store in another state. Start over. Learn to see customers as customers, not categories." As Trevor leaves, Whitmore makes a call to Vanessa. "He approached me as you predicted. I think we've heard the last from him." Meanwhile, at Elegance Chicago, the transformation continues. Sales figures for the week show a surprising 15% increase despite the disruption, or perhaps because of it. The store has become a destination, curiosity driving foot traffic while the transparent handling of the crisis earns customer respect. "People appreciate honesty," Tiffany tells Vanessa during their daily briefing, "and they notice how differently they're treated now." As Vanessa prepares to address all store managers nationwide, Trevor makes one desperate final move that threatens to unravel everything. The Elegance corporate headquarters boardroom gleams with polished mahogany and subtle luxury. 12 executive board members sit in plush leather chairs, reviewing documents as Trevor Barnes adjusts his tie nervously by the door. Somehow, against all odds, he's secured this hearing, a last-chance appeal to the board directly. His strategy? Position Vanessa's actions as hasty and politically motivated rather than corrective. He's brought 3 character witnesses, all wealthy white customers who've spent 6 figures at Elegance under his management. "Mr. Barnes, you may present your case," says the board chairman, his tone neutral but eyes skeptical. Trevor steps forward, projecting confidence he no longer feels. "Distinguished board members, I've dedicated 5 years to building Elegance's reputation for exclusivity and prestige." He gestures to his witnesses. "These valued clients can attest to the exceptional atmosphere I cultivated, an atmosphere that drove our sales to record heights." Mrs. Hoffman, his most loyal customer, nods emphatically. Shopping at Elegance under Trevor's management was a true luxury experience. We felt special, protected from the changing elements of downtown. Trevor continues smoothly. "In luxury retail, certain judgments must be made. My track record of sales growth proves my methods work." He displays a chart showing revenue increases during his tenure. Ms. Taylor may have good intentions, but her inexperience in luxury retail risks destroying what makes Elegance special. The board members listen impassively. At the far end of the table, Vanessa sits quietly, making occasional notes but offering no interruption. When Trevor finishes his 20-minute defense, an uncomfortable silence fills the room. Then Vanessa stands, moving to a sleek laptop connected to the room's projection system. "Before I respond, I'd like to show the board something." The lights dim slightly as the screen illuminates. What follows is a methodically assembled compilation that Trevor never imagined existed. First, security footage plays showing clear racial bias in customer treatment. Split-screen comparisons of nearly identical scenarios with dramatically different outcomes based solely on the customer's race. Next, testimonials from former employees describe the toxic culture. "Trevor told me never to approach black customers first because they waste your commission time. He made me follow a black doctor around the store, even after she spent $12,000 on gifts for her staff. I was reprimanded for serving champagne to a customer Trevor deemed not our type, who then purchased our most expensive watch collection." The presentation continues relentlessly. Audio recordings of Trevor making explicit racial comments during staff meetings, statistics showing his store's declining customer diversity despite neighborhood demographics, email threads where Trevor instructed security to monitor certain customers more closely. Trevor's witnesses shift uncomfortably. Mrs. Hoffman whispers something to her companion and quietly exits the room. Most damning is the financial analysis revealing that Trevor routinely undervalued commissions for sales to minority customers, categorizing their purchases as incidental rather than relationship sales in the bonus structure. When the lights come back up, Trevor stands alone, abandoned by his witnesses, facing a board whose expressions have transformed from neutral to disgusted. Vanessa finally speaks. "This isn't about one bad day or one misunderstanding. This is about systematic discrimination that damages our brand, violates the law, and betrays everything luxury service should represent." She turns to Trevor. "You weren't maintaining standards. You were imposing barriers that cost this company millions in lost sales and brand damage." The vote is unanimous and immediate. The board not only upholds Trevor's termination, but approves Vanessa's recommendation to blacklist him from all luxury retail positions within their extensive network. "We'll be sharing relevant information with our industry partners," the chairman informs Trevor coldly. "Not as punishment, but as protection for their businesses and customers." Security escorts Trevor from the building. As he steps into the bright afternoon sunlight, he notices construction workers removing the old Elegance logo from the facade of the headquarters building. The gold-leafed script that has represented old-world luxury for decades comes down letter by letter, making way for something new. As Trevor walks away from the luxury retail world forever, the first glimpse of Vanessa's vision for the future rises in gleaming letters behind him. 6 months later, the transformed Elegance flagship store gleams in the morning light, its new facade featuring sleek, contemporary lines while maintaining subtle nods to its heritage. The imposing security guards and velvet ropes that once created intimidating barriers have disappeared. In their place, an elegant sign greets visitors. Luxury is for those who appreciate it. Vanessa Taylor. Inside, Tiffany Adams, now permanent store manager, leads her diverse staff through their morning meeting. The digital display behind her shows customer satisfaction metrics that have increased by 40% since the transformation began. More remarkably, the clientele diversity has expanded dramatically without sacrificing sales. In fact, profits are up 25% over the previous year. Remember, excellence isn't about who the customer is, Tiffany reminds her team. It's about the experience we create for everyone who walks through those doors. The changes Vanessa implemented have rippled throughout the company. The recruitment process now operates on a blind basis, with initial applications stripped of identifying information to eliminate unconscious bias. The result? A 60% increase in staff diversity at all levels within 6 months. Commission structures have been completely reimagined, now based primarily on customer satisfaction ratings rather than sales amounts. Associates receive bonuses for repeat business and relationship building regardless of purchase size, recognizing that today's modest customer might be tomorrow's major client. Quarterly secret shopper tests ensure consistent service across all demographics. These anonymous evaluations now factor directly into management bonuses, creating financial incentives for inclusive excellence. Regular bias training and cultural competence education have transformed from corporate requirements into engaged discussions about evolving luxury markets. Staff members share perspectives on different cultural approaches to luxury, expanding the company's ability to serve global clientele. Community engagement programs now bring luxury education to diverse neighborhoods, with Elegance experts offering workshops on craftsmanship, design, and the investment value of quality goods. These programs create pathways for new customers while demonstrating the company's commitment to accessibility. Across town, Trevor Barnes straightens his name tag at a mid-tier department store. After months of rejection from luxury retailers, he's taken a position as a junior sales associate, struggling to adapt to an environment where he can't discriminate without consequences. His supervisor, a young black woman, has already warned him about his selective customer service. The industry has taken notice of Elegance's transformation. Fashion publications feature case studies analyzing the company's approach. Competing luxury retailers begin adopting similar practices, fearing both legal consequences and the business advantages Elegance has demonstrated. Industry conferences now include panels on inclusive luxury, where Vanessa is frequently invited to speak. A national retail association approaches Vanessa about delivering the keynote address at their annual convention on the business case for inclusion in luxury markets. Their invitation acknowledges that the luxury landscape is changing, driven by diverse new wealth from tech, entertainment, and international markets that doesn't match traditional profiles. What began as correcting one manager's discrimination has evolved into a movement redefining luxury retail itself, proving that exclusivity can be about appreciation and knowledge rather than race or appearance. As Vanessa reviews plans for the grand reopening celebration, her assistant interrupts. An unexpected visitor waits nervously at the entrance, asking to speak with her privately. The grand reopening of Elegance's flagship store transforms the space into a celebration of inclusive luxury. Crystal chandeliers illuminate a diverse crowd of customers, media representatives, and fashion influencers. Champagne flows freely, offered to every guest regardless of appearance or perceived purchasing power. Vanessa moves through the gathering with natural grace, engaging in brief but meaningful conversations. She pauses near the handbag display where her confrontation with Trevor began 6 months ago, now reimagined with an interactive exhibit explaining the craftsmanship behind luxury goods. Tiffany approaches, elegant in her new position as permanent manager. "Someone's asking to speak with you privately," she says quietly. "I told her you're busy with the event, but she insists it's important." Curious, Vanessa follows Tiffany to a quiet corner where an elderly black woman waits, her hands clasped nervously before her. Her clothes are modest but impeccable, her posture dignified despite evident nervousness. "This is Ms. Gladys," Tiffany introduces before discreetly stepping away. "Thank you for seeing me," the woman says softly. "I'm Trevor's grandmother." Vanessa's expression reveals nothing, but she immediately offers the woman a seat in a private consultation area. "That's very kind of you to come. How can I help you, Ms. Gladys?" "I came to apologize for my grandson," she says, her voice carrying the weight of difficult emotion. "What he did, that's not how I raised him." Vanessa sits across from her. "You're not responsible for his actions." "Maybe not directly," Ms. Gladys sighs, looking down at her weathered hands. "But somewhere along the way, he learned the wrong lessons about success and who deserves respect." Their conversation flows with unexpected ease, two women discussing the complicated generational nature of bias, how systems perpetuate it, and the responsibility of breaking cycles. "He's starting therapy," Ms. Gladys reveals. "Working at that department store has been humbling. His supervisor doesn't tolerate his old behaviors." "Too late for his career here, but not too late for him as a person," Vanessa observes. Ms. Gladys nods. "That's what I told him. Sometimes you have to lose everything to see clearly." Vanessa thanks her for coming, then personally escorts her through the store, introducing her to Tiffany and other staff with genuine respect. When Ms. Gladys admires a small crystal figurine, Vanessa insists she accept it as a gift, not out of pity, but recognition of her courage in coming. As the event continues, Vanessa addresses the gathered crowd. Camera flashes punctuate her words as media capture the moment. "Luxury isn't about exclusion, it's about excellence. Excellence in craftsmanship, in service, and in recognizing the humanity in everyone who walks through our doors." Her gaze sweeps across the diverse gathering. "True elegance isn't what you wear or what you can afford. It's how you treat people, especially when you think no one important is watching." The cameras pan across customers now comfortable in a space that previously excluded them. Young entrepreneurs in casual attire examining watches alongside traditionally wealthy clients, fashion students studying construction details beside celebrities. Judge people by their character, not their appearance. See potential customers, not potential thieves. Vanessa's voice carries conviction born of personal experience. Because you never know. The person you underestimate today might own your company tomorrow. Soft laughter ripples through the crowd, followed by applause that builds into a standing ovation. If you've enjoyed this story of justice and transformation, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button right now to join the Beat Stories family. Every week, we bring you powerful tales of justice, redemption, and people standing up against discrimination. Your support makes these stories possible. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss a new Beat Stories upload.
Every time someone stands up, speaks out, or refuses to be erased, a new story is born. At Beat Stories, we archive that courage. Subscribe now and help us keep these moments alive, because the more we share them, the harder they are to ignore.